Hi friends! So we're going to read ABC Universe. So all the words in here are vocabulary words. They start with A and they go all the way to Z. So let's see what the first one is. A for astronaut. Astronauts are people who are trained to go into space. The first astronaut landed on the moon on July 20th, 1969. That was a long time ago. That was almost 50 years ago. Isn't that crazy? Next one, a black hole. A black hole is formed when a very large star runs out of energy and collapses. Nothing can escape from a black hole if it gets too close. Oh no, it sucks you in? That's not cool. Next one, a comet. A comet is a ball of ice and dust. When a comet moves close to the sun, it can form a long, bright tail. Cool. Next one, D, dwarf planet. A dwarf planet is round and moves around the sun, but it's smaller than a planet. Pluto is the most famous of the dwarf planets. Remember yesterday I was talking to you how we used to have 9 planets, now we have 8? This is why. Pluto, which was our 9th planet, now turned into a dwarf planet. It's too small to be considered a planet, but it's too big to be something else. Next one, Earth. That's our planet. Earth is where if Earth was a little closer or farther from the sun, it would be too hot or too cold for humans, animals, and other plants to exist. So we're going to talk about how Earth and the sun, the distance, makes it perfect for us to live. Next one. Oh wait, I missed F. Ooh, look at that. Big fire. Flame. A solar flare is a burst of energy from the surface of the sun. So when we look at the sun, we see all the red stuff. We look from outer space and it's all bursting. Those are solar flares. G, a galaxy. We talked about galaxies. Galaxies are made up of dust, gas, and stars held together by gravity. Our galaxy, the Milky Way, has hundreds of billions of stars in it. See the Milky Way? See how it looks like milk spilt? That's why we call it that. The Hubble Space Station. Hubble Space Telescope is a powerful telescope that moves in space and takes pictures of the planets, stars, and galaxies. It weighs as much as 2 elephants. That is a big thing. It's heavy. Next one. Io is one of Jupiter's many moons. So Jupiter has different moons around it. We have one moon, but but Jupiter has a lot around them. It's covered by hundreds of volcanoes. It's the most volcanically active object in the solar system. So on the moon, they have volcanoes that go, they have volcanoes that explode all over the place for Jupiter's moon. And then here's Jupiter. Jupiter is the 5th planet from the sun and the largest planet in our solar system. One of Jupiter's storms, the Great Red Spot, has been lasting for hundreds of years. You see the big spot right there? That's been going on for hundreds of years. That's a lot of years. Next one. The Kepler spacecraft. The Kepler spacecraft was launched into space to look for Earth-like planets where liquid, water, and life might exist. So this thing is looking for maybe there's another planet like Earth, because all the other planets, we don't think they have any people on them. So we want to see if we can find a planet that is just like our Earth, where we can be just the farthest distance from the sun, so we're not too high and not too cold, but being too far from it. Next one, a lunar eclipse. So we're going to talk about this when we talk about the moon. A lunar eclipse occurs when the sun, Earth, and the moon line up, causing Earth's shadow to cover the moon. The moon looks red during a lunar eclipse. We're going to do an experiment where we take something, we put a light underneath it, and it's going to turn it red. So we're going to make it look like a lunar eclipse. I'm going to do it in one of our videos. Very exciting. Here's our moon. The moon is the only natural object to move around Earth. It's also the only world in the let me read that again. It's also the only other world in outer space that the humans have ever visited. So the moon has its own little things on there, the craters. When we talk about our moon lesson, we're going to see all the cool craters on there. This is a nebula. Look at those pretty colors. It kind of looks like oil spilt. A nebula is a cloud of dust and gas in space. Some nebulas are places where stars are born, and others are formed when the stars die. Here's an orbit. We're talking about the orbit. See how each planet has a different circle around it? How it's a little bit bigger and a little bit smaller? That's the orbit. An orbit is the path of an object that takes as it moves around another object. So all these planets orbit the sun. Here we have Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. Neptune's the farthest, so it's going to be the coldest, and Mercury is the closest, so it's going to be the hottest. A planet is a large round object that orbits the sun. There are 8 planets in our solar system. Remember how there used to be 9? We had Pluto as our planet. Let's see if we can go back and see if we can find him. There we go. There's our Pluto, but he's a dwarf planet now. All right, let's continue. A quasar. That's a new word. Remember the QU? They always make the Q sound. Quasars are very bright objects that are in the center of a very distant galaxies. So we don't have any quasars in ours, do we? I don't know. We're going to have to research that. Rockets are used to launch satellites, astronauts, and other objects into space. See the rockets? You know how we do the countdown for the blast off? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Blast off. That's what they do. And as they're doing that, only this little part gets blasted off. The rest of this stuff falls back to the Earth. Next one, a supernova. A supernova is an explosion of a star. It can be incredibly bright, and it's the largest explosion in space. This is a photo of the remaining of a supernova explosion. Look at that. Look at those pretty colors. It's cool. It's like blue. It looks like a flame. You know what it kind of looks like? Kind of looks like a, what's it called? What's that thing that explodes in the sky? A firework. That's what it looks like. And then here, telescopes. I wish we were in school so you guys can see that we can use a telescope and maybe look up at the sky. But we'll see if we can do a different thing. We have the space station. There's a video on there. You guys can go on there and maybe you can get like a view from a telescope. Telescopes are instruments that help people see faraway items. Astronomers use them to study planets, stars, and other objects in space. Uranus is our 7th planet. Uranus is the 7th planet from the sun at 1.8 million miles away. Its orbit is around the sun. It takes 84 years. So our 1 year around the sun, it takes them 84 years to get around it once. That's a long time. And look how pretty it is. It's a nice blue-green. That's a cool color. This is the Voyager. The Voyager 1 is a space probe that was launched in 1977. It was there to study the solar system. It's the most distant human-made object in space. Look at that. That's pretty cool. It sends all its signals back to Earth through there. Ooh, a white dwarf. A white dwarf is a star that has run out of its energy. Billions of years from now, the sun will turn into a white dwarf. So our sun is yellow and it's all flaming, and the flames are what causes the energy. Eventually, it's going to stop flaming out. It's going to turn into a white dwarf star. Because remember, the sun is a star. It's a big burning star. It's the star that's closest to our planet. All right, last page. An X-ray binary. An X-ray binary is a pair of stars where one star is collapsed and pulls material off of the other star, producing X-rays. Like, you know how when you go to the doctor and you want to see your inside bones? Those are X-rays. They take a picture, that's your X-ray. Oop, last page. All right, next one. A yellow dwarf. A yellow dwarf is a medium-sized star like our sun. Even though it's called a yellow dwarf and looks orange here, our sun is actually white. Last one, the zenith, is an imaginary point directly overhead. So when we're looking up at the sky and we see an imaginary point, that's a zenith. All right, that was a good book. That gave us a lot of good vocabulary. So I want you guys to go to your Google Classroom and you guys can see a video. I'm going to see if I can find one that goes with this, and you guys are going to practice the words. And don't forget, you have to check Google Classroom every day and go on youreducation.com and go on the other things that I put on there so you guys can do fun activities. Keep working on your handwriting and keep working on your numbers, because I want you guys to come back. I want to see your great handwriting, I want to see your great penmanship, and I want to be able to do lots of math. All right, guys, I miss you. Bye.